residents at Brightview Senior Living Communities enjoy enhanced possibilities, independence, and choice. Brightview Homedale will offer vibrant senior independent living, assisted living, and memory care services through various daily programs and cultural events, chef-prepared meals, safety and security, transportation, resort-style amenities, and high-quality care. Everything you need is here. Discover more at brightviewhomedale.com. Welcome Center opens in February. Equal housing opportunity.
What's up, fam? On April 27th, the 2024 Black Effect Podcast Festival is taking place at the Pullman Yards in Atlanta. It's going to be a legendary event, so get your tickets now. Our festival partner, Nissan, is back with its Pitch Your Podcast Lounge. Nissan is offering you the opportunity to pitch your dream podcast and share it with its Black Effect Podcast team. So get those podcast ideas ready, because no matter where life takes you, remember that you count on Nissan to dial up the thrill in your adventures.
Could these study results apply to your life? If you or a loved one are living with HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer, take a look at the data for a clinical study where 50% of eligible people with HER2-positive MBC lived over 2 years without their tumors growing or spreading. Visit her2results.com to learn more.
Hey everyone, I'm Brian Austin Green.
I'm Shauna Burgess.
And I'm Randy Spelling.
And you are listening to Oldish, an iHeartRadio podcast.
Randy.
Sharna, good to see you as always.
It's always good to see you. It's so good to hear your voice. We are back for another episode of Oldish. Thank you everyone for tuning in with us. We have Randy and I today and a special guest that is filling in for Bri because the man is still away. He is going to be, I think, so much fun with us, and I'm so honored and grateful that he's given us his time to stand in for Bri. Mr. Ian Ziering.
Ladies and gentlemen. Randy, it's only been 100 freaking years.
I know. Seriously. Good to see you.
How dare you look so good? Look at you, Ian. This is not okay.
I shaved my face first time in 20 years.
You look amazing.
How are you, Sharna?
So good. It's so good to see you. Thank you for hanging with us today.
Thanks, Sharna. You're very sweet to invite me.
Oh my God. You're wonderful. I love your energy. I think you're so what our podcast is about. Just, talking about, real stuff, life stuff, funny stuff. We'll get into it. We're just being, humans having a human experience and sharing it right here on this podcast. So hopefully help people, inspire people, and, have a bit of fun while doing it.
Sounds good. Let's hit it.
Before jumping into a whole bunch of different directions, how has your week been?
Yeah, just tell us about your week. What you've been up to?
My week has been nonstop. I've got so many balls in the air, as an actor here in Hollywood right now coming out of a strike.
Yeah.
First of all, it's the kids. First and foremost, it's my kids. And I've had to work with my oldest daughter who is applying to middle school. What kind of shit is that? Since when do you have to apply
that's crazy.
to school? And, it's like a 10-page application for middle school. And I had to fill out most of it. And then I had to give it to my daughter to fill out the rest. And, those questions that were asked of her are essay questions. And, you just have to hope for the best. She's my little one, Penna, she's very bright and persnickety and just charming and lovely. And, you just have to let go and let it happen. So we worked on that quite a bit. My oldest one, Mia, she's a 12-nager now. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The challenges that come with little girls. Every level's got a different devil. Let me tell you.
I'm in it.
Did you just say 12-ager? 12-ager? I love it. I love that. Yeah, I remember being 12. I absolutely thought I was 20 when I was 12, for sure.
And she's very much in that mindset. So really that takes most of my focus. But in terms of being dad and provider, I've got other businesses. I work with Corey on occasion to build out a line of health and beauty products that we're really doing pretty well with. That's really exciting. We're working on selling a talk show with a gentleman who I had the chance to meet at a retreat, all about relational connections, whether it's romantic or familiar. It's just, oh my God, there's some people out there. I shy away from the word gurus, but you hear the words that come out of their mouth and you're just like, oh my God, that's such great language. It's so important to talk to experts about different things. I'm telling you, if I need my taxes done, it goes to an expert. God forbid I needed heart surgery, I'd go to an expert. But nobody teaches love. They really don't. You're pretty much set it and forget it based on your environment that you grew up with. And it can be very challenging. It doesn't always align, and you can create the love. But you really need to start with an understanding of what people need in a relationship, what you need, what they need. So building out a talk show for this guy, I think he's going to replace Dr. Phil. He's unbelievable.
Wow.
And what else am I doing? I'm fiddling around with this dad bod boot camp thing because I really feel to a certain extent that I have a gift in talking to my fellow men out there and helping them shift their mindset to be more proactive about their health. So many of us are resigned to the dad bod, and it's not healthy. It's really not healthy. And we control so little in our lives, but what we put into our mouth is one of those things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you and Randy are going to get along famously on this episode. My God, you are speaking his language.
Well, Randy, you're ripped. I saw a picture of Randy. He's all ripped.
I'm trying to take a page out of your book.
You nearly broke the internet with that one. Randy looks amazing. You both look amazing. I just have to say right now that, like, for better or worse, I was just sharing with Randy that I said to you, how was your week? And you've given all these things. Randy asked me how my week was. I was like, I had anxiety. You just labeled off all the things that you're doing. It's amazing. And I think it's what I needed to hear, being proactive, being inspired, getting into it. I'm so grateful the universe brought me that, where I could listen to you and all the things that you're doing and forming and creating and thinking of. Because I've had a week of just sitting in some anxiety for some reason. I'm in a period of transition. It's that moment of things are happening, but they're not happening quick enough. And then that breeds like fear of what if they don't happen. And then it just has been a little bit of a cycle or a circle for me. So thank you for sharing all of that and being so excited and passionate about it, because you just lit a little bit of a fire for me. Like, all right, I got to get my shit together. Like, so what? It's anxiety, but there's a lot of things that I can do and create and be to push past that. So, wow, I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so bridging what you just said, how do you, Ian, get past, the strike was going on. There might be a roadblock in one area, but it sounds like for you, you have gone and pivoted and created other things, while over here, some things might be waiting in the wings. So what do you do that works for you?
First of all, I'm the voice inside my head. I don't allow myself to fall victim to the monster, what I call the monster, which is that self-destructive, self-sabotaging monster inside of us that is inside us all, because we have a comfort zone where, okay, I'm comfortable here. And if I start doing better, then I'll put the brakes on to stay in the comfort zone. And if I'm not doing well enough, then I'll ramp up a little bit. But, I'm very aware of the programs that my head runs, and I distance myself from them by saying, oh no, I'm not dealing with that shit today. I'm going to choose me and decide to get whatever it is I need to do, get it done, and I'll put the bullshit in a box and put it in another room. You can't get rid of it, but you can identify it. And if I'm the voice inside my head, then I can direct where I and what I need to do for the day. And sometimes people, and I've been guilty of this too, they're passengers. You're passenger in your own life. You let life happen to you instead of you living it. It's really unfortunate. But I've been so lucky to have been exposed to some incredible forward-thinking people that have helped me in my journey. I initiated a divorce in 2019. We jumped right into a pandemic. Every foundational building block that my children had was all of a sudden gone. I'm in my house alone. I suffered from severe depression. I went on some Lexapro for 4 months, and all of a sudden I wasn't weepy, but I realized I wasn't feeling anything anymore. So I told my doc, I said, look, I want to start feeling again. And I went off the meds and then just started noticing some things about myself that I wasn't happy with, and decided to make the change. I'm motivated by love, and I love my kids more than anything. They're my why for everything. And I wasn't accomplishing what I needed to do to serve my kids. I was a mess, and that doesn't work for me. And Sharna, I hear, when you say you had some anxiety, that's a very real struggle. But I think, if you can see that as a program that your head is running, then maybe you can distance yourself from it a little bit. Say, I'm not going to deal with this today. I need to go to Target and I need to do some things to get whatever it is I need. And you could push past it while still giving grace for the anxiety that's truly inside your body. You can still move forward and be productive, even though you're struggling, if you identify the program that's running inside your head a little bit. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's worked for me.
I love the way you say identify the program. Usually my approach is to identify the why, which I think is very similar in what you're saying. You know, for me, a big part of pushing through anxiety or moments of feeling a little stuck or frozen is like, okay, why do I feel this way? What is it that's making me feel this way? And so often when I do that for myself and I recognize, as you say, the programming or the why of it, that I'm sitting here and go, oh, that doesn't even really make sense. You know, my brain is telling me is making up these stories and filling in these gaps with these whatever, because anxiety is just breeding more anxiety. But if I go back to the root of it and the why, oh, this is something easy for me to work through. You know, as you say, like, I think the programming and the why sort of sound similar to me in that sense, the root cause of it, at least. And I know what it's been for me this week, and it's taken a little longer to work through it, but certainly having tools to combat anxiety, yourself, depression. I mean, I hope you know that what you did, the choices that you make, and like, first of all, saying, I want to feel again. That is huge, huge, Ian. Don't minimize how strong you are and how wonderful that is. I hope you see that, and your ability to push past these things and build your own tools and process of how to be a human, having a human experience and recognizing that it's okay to have these feelings, but you can also work through them. That's major. As you know, as you say, that's a really beautiful quality that you have. That's very inspiring.
I've always been a very sensitive person.
Oh, you are my people.
Oh,
you
it's
are
just
my people.
like,
oh my God, sensitive.
Things affect me. And then going through, cratering my family, which was very difficult, took a lot of courage. And then to live with the aftermath on top of the pandemic and all that isolation was really overwhelming. And I was a mess. I was weepy. I'd be like in bed with my dog at 7 p.m., cuddling, trying to go to sleep and just being a mess. I just wasn't happy with the version of myself that was created from all of that. Time helps heal that wound. Now 4 years later, got a really great relationship with my ex-wife. She and I co-parent really well together. We are cooking Thanksgiving dinner together for the kids.
Oh, I love that.
Excellent.
This is happening
That's
at
amazing.
a point. Yeah, well, it's good because she nor I are romantically linked to anybody, so it wouldn't create any discomfort in a relationship. And why not do this? I mean, I still honor her for the woman that I married, the woman who gave me two of the most amazing children in my life. Though we're a broken family, we're still a family. Mm-hmm. And any opportunity that I have to show that dad still cares about mom, and mom, shows that she could still care about dad in front of the kids, I think is a good thing to do. We try to do that whenever we can. At first it was acrimonious. There's no divorce that's pleasant. Let's be real.
Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets to a point that you got to look at what really is most important. And that's making sure the children that you brought into the world are healthy and capable of being productive adults and experiencing love, functional love, even if it gets broken once in a while, the care and honor of another person that you're with is important. They need to see that. You can't just show it to them.
It's so invaluable. And we talked a lot about co-parenting on our podcast, but what you're showing them is invaluable to them. So not only good representation of how to treat people that you love, kindness, respect for other people, but that a situation like yours doesn't have to end in it being really ugly and bitter and angry, that you can still have mutual respect, that if it didn't work out, your family is not necessarily broken. It's just reimagined. It's respaced into a different way. And I think even reforming that word is helpful, because so often today, marriages don't work out, and the healthier option is to separate and do exactly what you're doing. Still show representation of love, but in a different form, of respect for one another, good parenting. You're doing everything, not only the best that you can, but in my opinion, so beautifully, and I think the right way. It's really huge. I love hearing this.
Thanks. Yeah, doing the best I can.
It's parenting is tough, let alone co-parenting. You know what I mean?
It is. It so is. And the thing is, in terms of relationships, even when people go their separate ways, I don't think there's as much thought sometimes to the fact that it's still a relationship. You're still going to have to make decisions. You're still going to be parenting these kids just from a separate house or a different place. So how do you facilitate that ability to get along in order to forward think and look at how is this going to affect the kids? There's a decision that you make as a couple for each of you, but also looking at how are they going to experience love later on? Because we all know by now that we tend to repeat things that we've seen from past and in our childhood. So you spoke to this about the retreat that you went on, right? And reimagining love and looking at redefining what that is for you and how to look at it and interact with it differently. Same thing with kids is they grow up with the model of what's around them. And a lot of times unconsciously, this is what happens. They repeat the patterns that they see. So the fact that you're doing this with her is real. I mean, look, there's no guarantees, but I think it's really amazing for them to be able to see that and the care and the consideration that goes into not only that relationship, but to them, because it's really a lot of care and consideration about what it's like for them growing up, seeing both of their parents care about each other, even if they're not together.
Yeah. For me, and I know you, Randy, and Brian too, dad is a no-fail endeavor. Like, I will crawl through broken glass, swim, I will tread underwater to prop my kids up, whatever I have to do. There's no ask that would be too great. And I want to make sure that I'm raising, lionesses. I want my girls to be sharp and understand the value of a deep emotional connection. And though mom and I don't have it anymore, I have this with my kids and she has it with the kids. And they see that there is that compassion and love and honor that their mom and dad still have for each other.
Did you know the majority of women diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer may actually have low levels of HER2? If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer, there may be more to know about the diagnosis. Go to myher2ihcscore.com to learn more.
You know a spot, but not just a spot, the spot. Actually, with the 2023 Nissan Frontier, you know a bunch of them. But the key to these great spots? Being able to reach them in the first place. Your spot is out there. Find your frontier in the 2023 Nissan Frontier with standard 310 horsepower, advanced tech, and 281 pound-feet of torque.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay, the only sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas from only $639. Anabay brings you a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabric, cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam, and hypoallergenic featherless down that needs no fluffing. Their steel frame ensures longevity, and you can rearrange the modular pieces anytime. And here's the cherry on top, up to 60% off site-wide. It's backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Join the revolution of easy, clean, stylish living with up to 60% off at anabay.com. That's ANABEI.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
It looks like you have a lot of fun with your girls. I saw some of the Instagram things where they were waxing your nose hairs, and I didn't even get to see the reveal of that, but I was dying laughing.
Oh my God. I had gotten the stuff off the internet because it looked so ridiculous. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this. And I put it in her drawer, and all of a sudden Penna finds it. Dad, we have to do this. And, when my daughter asks, she wants to have some fun, any opportunity I have to make a memory, I'm absolutely going to do it. I'm an older dad, and I don't have the runway that younger dads with their kids. So I'm trying to cram in as much valuable memories as possible. I had these things made. Every time I'd walk the kids to school, when they were little, I'd squeeze their hand and I'd say, I love you this much. And I'd squeeze their hand. And, it got to the point where we would be doing this every day and words didn't need to be spoken anymore. It could just be the pinches. And I had these life casts made.
Oh, wow. Ian.
Of me holding the kids' hands. And I have one for Mia and one for Penna. And the artist, she said, I have something interesting we could do with the hand, where the hand and wrist ends. So what do you say we grow crystals?
Wow.
Oh, stop.
Is that crazy?
You know what's crazy?
Unbelievably beautiful.
I'm totally tearing up right now. I have the chills because so much of what you are saying, I feel, Ian, you played my older brother on 90210. I should say I played your younger brother on 90210. And just hearing you talk and us, this is 20 years later since the show ended. And there's so many similarities that you and I have that I never realized because I was so young back then. We didn't get into such deep conversations. But wow, so much of what you're saying, I feel so similar. And a memory of my father that I had is when we would be walking, he was older, and he would sit and squeeze my hand, and he would tell me very affectionately, every time I squeeze your hand, that means I love you. You don't have to say anything. And it's so beautiful to see that.
So I had these things made. I don't know if you can read it, but it says always the best part of my day. Because I'd say that, I'd squeeze them. I was like, this is the best part of my day. So any opportunity I have to make memories with my kids, and I know I'm not going to live forever. And I'm an orphan now. And, I scour my mind for memories. I'd say, okay, 1991, what was I doing? I was out here in California. And I would recreate the memories I would have of my parents. It's not money. The wealth is not in money. At the end of the day, it's in memories. So I'm always trying to create lucid memories for my kids, and they'll have these when it's a little dark, I suppose, because that was the intention. These are for when I'm gone, but
I think it's beautiful in the slightest. It's phenomenal. Oh my God, I'm speechless at that, actually.
Seriously, between last episode, Sharna, where you talked about your nipple ring ripping out, that stayed with me for days. It's the empath in me. And now, Ian, with this story, I'm like, I need to go lay down. I can't work. I'm for the rest of the day.
Emotional after this share. This was absolutely, Ian, you took me by surprise. Is this something, this really sentimental side of you, right, that you have? Is this something that is solely for your girls, or have you been like this in your romantic relationships? Are you a hopeless romantic with grand gestures?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. You're my people. Yeah.
This is when I asked Erin to marry me, I said I could see our love written in the stars. Mm-hmm. I'd say that for like a week. I'm like, oh, babe, we were in this effusive love bubble, and I was just like love blowing out of my ears. And I kept saying I could see our love written in the stars, which is so like stupid and cliche. But when you're in that moment, it's just like, ooh, it's just the yummiest stuff. And she came home from work that one day. And right in the center of my living room here, there was a stool with this globe-looking thing that had all these wires and hearts sticking out of it. And I put her right in front of it. I said, what does this look like? And she says, an arts and crafts project? I'm like, well, close. Let me see if I could make it a little bit more clear. And then I went, and over here, I had this black curtain, and I unfurled it down. And there was in the black sheet, there was a white circle, and I said, what does it look like now? And she's like, I said, let me see if I could light it up for you. So I hit this button, and I had like little sparkle lights put into the black sheet. So she's like, oh, that's the moon and the stars. I'm like, well, do you get it? And she says, not really. So then I put a light, a little desk lamp at her feet, and I shined it up at the globe with the wires and the heart sticking out of it. And for hours earlier in the day, I had meticulously placed these wires and hearts so the shadow would display our love on the white moon of the background. So I lit it up and it says, "Our love." And she's like, "Oh my God, I see our love written on the moon." And she turned around and I was on my knee and I asked her to marry me. But it didn't end there because I have a friend that I went to high school with that's an astronaut. And he took my ring to outer space for a year. So my ring was in outer space. Dude, right, Randy?
What?
Right? Crazy.
Why are you overachieving, Ian?
I know.
Did Brian consult you at all about his proposal? I don't think he did. I mean, I'm gonna have words with that man. I'm kidding.
So
I'll send you the picture. But like, wow.
I sent my ring to outer space for a year, where it traveled around the world 145 million miles. It saw 10,000 sunrises and sunsets. Also, I could say, "I see our love written in the stars." And I have a picture of it floating in the cupola of the space station, just floating in the capsule, but you could see the Earth behind it. And it's...
Ian, this might be the most unreal proposal story I've ever heard in my life. Like, this is
very
in the
motivated
best
by
way.
love.
You are absolutely, you're not kidding when you say that.
I can only imagine how many people are going to listen to this and look at their partners and go,
"What the that's what they're going to say."
Like, oh my gosh, what would it be like to have a man who doesn't have a dad bod, who has the mindset of this, who sends the ring out to space for a year?
Yeah, no one knew this existed. Ian, this is amazing. Most women, they just got a new standard. The bar just got raised, is what I'm saying.
I was not intending to raise the bar. Every guy is different.
No, I think it's awesome. Okay, so let's shift gears here.
Yeah, wait for I just pick my jaw up off the floor for a second. Hang on, I'm with you. Where are we going?
Hopefully, Ian, you will come back when Brian is on the show, because I feel like there's a lot for you two to talk about. Obviously, you know, we all have our own history, but I think with you and Brian, there's going to be...
Oh, Brian's my chosen brother. I love that kid.
Right. So many more stories and 90210 happenings. But we have a chance to say a couple things about Brian, especially for you, that we may not even know. Any memories of Brian, anything from 90210, anything that you can share that people would be surprised by or that we don't know?
Oh my God, I had the...
Just give me the dirt. Just the good stuff. Just give me the juicy stuff, Ian. I want to know, who was this man before he proposed to me?
I met Brian and he was a kid.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we were all... Brian was 16 or 17 years old. And I tell you, I was always very impressed with Brian because he was never vulgar. He had a class about him that spoke very highly to the way he was raised. He was well-mannered. He was tremendously gracious. You know, this was at a time where the giving was overwhelming to us being on this show. We were all very young, but Brian handled himself with grace and elegance, where some people may have been, "Bring it on, let's go party" kind of thing. Brian was always very reserved with that. And, you know, it wasn't until I met his parents that I realized, oh, okay, now it all makes sense. So totally. Brian's always been a good guy. And, you know, Randy, I got to talk about you and your sister. For two kids to have grown up in the middle of so much opulence, but yet to be so grounded, really, it just speaks so much to the job that your mom and dad did with you. Because, you know, when I met Tori, I didn't know what to expect. You know, she's like living a fairy tale princess life. And here I am, this guy from Jersey, and, you know, a little rough around the edges, perhaps. But she was always, and you too, you would never know. There was never anything that either of you ever did that was, "Look at me, I'm Sandra D-ish." It was always, "After you. Thank you very much." I'm like, oh my God, this is great. All the people that I grew up with, everybody really, we all came from different backgrounds, but I think everybody was parented really well, because at the end of the day, they're all solid people, you know, where no one takes anything for granted. And I'm with these people now at different Comic-Cons, or we'll have lunch or wherever, Brian's birthday party. And it's just so beautiful to have gone through the fire with all these people. And yet there's a certain sameness in their character that has made them chosen family for me. It'd be so easy. I don't know many casts that have worked together that still stay as close as we are. We laugh with each other. We clap for each other. We cry with each other. It's really very, very lucky. But Brian was always a class act and funny. And like when he'd get crazy, all of a sudden he would like bang out some crazy dance moves. And I hated that little bastard, man, because he could dance.
Yeah, he could dance.
Yeah. Oh my God. He'd like be breaking out his dance routine, doing whatever.
Right.
Right? You saw him, man. He was just like, God. And then music, all of a sudden he like sit down the piano, he's playing piano. Like, holy shit. He's so talented.
Yeah,
I don't really think they highlighted all the talent that Brian had to give, because he's really a talented, gifted young man.
Mm-hmm.
He is. He's very talented. So first of all, thank you for saying all the things that you did about me and
all true, Randy. All true.
And Tori. Thank you. Yeah, I think being raised. I'll just say this quickly for both Tori and I. Tori didn't want to be seen as being given anything. Nepotism was a very strong word back then in Hollywood, and she caught more flack for that than I did, unfortunately. And so she really wanted to work hard to work against any projections that there would be on her. So it was really important to be professional. Our father always said, show up early. Be there on time, be professional, thank everybody. So there was this idea, and of course my mom too, this idea of like really appreciate people and don't take it all for granted. And so we both had that. And it's just such a beautiful thing to hear that the cast laughs and cries for each other and applauds each other. I mean, you don't always hear that. So I think that's something really special and not to be taken lightly. And then back to Brian. I mean, all of you on the cast, for me being really young, I idolized everyone in my own way, right? Because I would see the dailies coming home, or I'd sort of get like the advanced copy of the show that was coming out, and I pop it in my VCR and sit on my bed, and I was so excited. And then when I got cast to come on and play your little brother, I was so nervous to do that because I was watching this show on TV as a young teen, and then to sort of like be a fan and then come in and work with everyone, I was scared shitless. But you were so great at making jokes, at keeping us comfortable, and just making it easy. So I want to thank you for that, because there were some moments where my heart was beating out of my chest. I was so nervous.
Never knew that. You handled yourself like a professional, Randy.
I hit it well.
You're really an actor.
Right? I masked it well.
You did.
Did you know the majority of women diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer may actually have low levels of HER2? If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer, there may be more to know about the diagnosis. Go to myher2ihcscore.com to learn more.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay, the only sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas from only $639. Anabay brings you a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabric, cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam, and hypoallergenic featherless down that needs no fluffing. Their steel frame ensures longevity, and you can rearrange the modular pieces anytime. And here's the cherry on top, up to 60% off site-wide. It's backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Join the revolution of easy, clean, stylish living with up to 60% off at anabei.com. That's ANABEI.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
So amazing to hear your experience of that. And like Randy said, to hear that you guys clap and cry and are still so bonded with each other. It's a beautiful thing. You guys went through fame at a crazy time. Like the 90s, Brian's spoken with me about it and what it was like, and just that madness of paparazzi becoming a thing, and how big 90210 got, and how you guys just got shot to stardom so quickly that suddenly hundreds of thousands of people know your name and want your attention, then millions of people. And that just must have been wild. How old were you when you started 90210, when you were doing it?
I was 26.
So how was that for you? This like sudden rush of, and forgive me, I don't know how much you had done before 90210, but was it wild? Did it take a second to adjust to suddenly having this unreal fame that, not many people had at that point?
I had been working since I'm 12 years old.
Okay. So it was not really new for you in that sense?
Well, I had some success. I was on Broadway when I was 15. I had done some movies, but there's nothing that could prepare you for the success that 90210 brought. It was like strapping yourself to a rocket ship and going global, because everywhere, and even today, anywhere that I go, it's,
of course. Yeah.
Aren't you? I'm like, yeah, hi, I'm Zach Morris. You remember me from Saved by, and that'll be like, no, you're not. And I'll have some fun with it. But, Brian and I in 1992 or 3, we were asked to go to Spain.
He told me this story. Is this the airport story? You have to tell this story. This is crazy.
We went to be on a TV show, their version of Hollywood Squares. And we get off the plane and an announcement came over, ladies and gentlemen, we're being redirected to another part of the airport. The Army is coming on the plane to escort some of the passengers off. And I'm thinking,
like, who?
I'm thinking there's some bad guy amongst us. And then it was Brian and I. They had to take us out of the airplane because there were like 12 or 15,000 people that descended on the airport because the TV program announced that we're landing, and everybody showed up. And it got to the point where there was such a mosh that I looked at Brian and said, Brian, my feet aren't even on the ground. I was getting so compressed that I lifted up my feet and I was just like moving like a blood vessel in the blood flow of humanity. It was insane. We had an unbelievable time in Spain and met some incredible people. And, on the ride home, it was, we had to catch our breath. Like, oh my God, what did we just do? Like, we just work on a TV show, but the impact that it had was so enormous. But, I think we took it with a grain of salt. I know I did. I know Brian did as well. They didn't really know us. I looked at it as an appreciation for what I had done, what I was contributing to the show. And that's really the way it's always been for me. I don't process that it makes me more of whatever they think I am. I'm staying the same. It's just like I've done something that affected somebody in a positive way, and it translates for me into just flattery and appreciation. It doesn't make my head get any bigger. My mom was very sure to keep me very well grounded. I remember very early in my career, I think it was my first commercial that I booked. I had to go into New York City, and I'm sitting 7 a.m. in the green room, and I'm really excited because this is my first commercial. And the PA comes over, hey, can I get you some breakfast, with a notepad? And I knew they were making breakfast. And this is a whole new experience for me. So I'm looking, and I know they're making stuff over there. And I look at my mom, and I'm about to say, I'd like some pancakes, and maybe you can make them strawberry pancakes. And can I get some Nutella, maybe a little bit of eggs on this? My mom shut that down right away. She put her hand on my thigh before I could even speak. And she said, no, he'll get it. Thank you, though. And he walked out, and I looked at my mom, and she says, look, you're no more important than that guy. I'm sure he's got something more important to do than to get you your breakfast. I guarantee it. So why don't you let him do your job? in the meantime, go introduce yourself to everyone on set and get your own breakfast, because everyone's here to make this commercial as great as it could be. You just happen to be in front of the camera, but what happens behind it is just as important, because if they screw up.
Go mom.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So that's really what, and even now when I go on set, I try my best to remember everybody's name. I rarely let them get food for me. I'm happy because I get to mingle. You know, some people are fine. Oh yes, go get my lunch and bring it to my trailer, and while you're at it, get me a loofah sponge. But me, I like people. I like to mix it up, and I like to, I like to get my own lunch. And that precept has stayed with me today. I try to, I don't lose sight of the fact that everyone's job is important. Mine just happens to be in front of the camera, but everyone has got an oar in the water, and everyone is rowing to make this project as good as it could be. So I don't ever let that ever change from one job or the other.
Brian's very much the same as you, from everything I know and have heard about him from other crew members that I know that have worked on the same sets of him, especially when we first started dating and you find out what people are like. And I think that was such a cool thing to hear about him on set and the way he is with people that he works with, because I'm very much the same. And to know that mutual respect is given to everyone, that he doesn't consider himself more important than anyone and shows kindness and respect to everybody was a big positive for me in getting to know him and to know things about him.
Yeah.
You guys are very, very similar in that regard.
Well, when you work so close together, all of a sudden it becomes a hive mentality. And when I see others doing good things, that, I could raise my game a little bit if I incorporated that into my personality or my level of professionalism, that, I'm always trying to do that. I think Brian, we're all pretty much the same. Like, I want to do good. I want to make sure that everyone knows that I appreciate what they're doing and have respect for their craft at whatever it is, whether it's lighting or pit design or camera, whatever it is, it's all equally important. But we get the glory because that's all people see.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
But everybody deserves the glory, and I make sure they all get it when I'm on set. And Brian is the same way. It's just, that's the way we are.
I love that.
Hey, it's Danielle Fishel,
Ryder Strong,
and Will Friedle.
But you know us best as Topanga,
Sean,
and Eric from Boy Meets World.
And now Pod Meets World, the podcast where we've been sitting down weekly to rewatch the show we starred in as kids, and we've been unpacking, well, a lot.
And we've been taking the show on the road with the Kids Wanna Jump Tour, where every stop in cities across the U.S. has been totally different and pretty hilarious, if I do say so myself.
But we know not everyone can join us, so we're happy to announce that our recent 30th anniversary of the show, live from the Met in Philadelphia, will now be available to stream no matter where you live.
Our biggest show yet, in the hometown of the Matthews, featuring appearances by Trina Angela McGee, Matthew Lawrence, a.k.a. Jack Hunter, Tony Mr. Turner Quinn, and Danny Harley McNulty, who makes a very special surprise visit.
It was so much fun, and now you can experience it from the comfort of your own home.
It will be available on December 11th at 5 p.m. Pacific. You can learn more about how you can watch at veeps.events/podmeetsworld.
December 11th, your birthday.
That's
birthday
true.
Boy.
Get all the info on streaming the live Pod Meets World show so you don't miss out. Go to veeps, veeps.events/podmeetsworld now.
Did you know the majority of women diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer may actually have low levels of HER2? If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with HER2-negative breast cancer, there may be more to know about the diagnosis. Go to myHER2IHCScore.com to learn more.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay, the only sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas from only $639. Anabay brings you a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabric. cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam, and hypoallergenic featherless down that needs no fluffing. Their steel frame ensures longevity, and you can rearrange the modular pieces anytime. And here's the cherry on top, up to 60% off site-wide. It's backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Join the revolution of easy, clean, stylish living with up to 60% off at anabei.com. That's ANABEI.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Was there a time where you weren't known as well, even though you've been acting since you were 12, and then 90210 came along, and then, Spain happened and you had that experience, and I'm sure it just escalated from there. Was it hard when 90210 ended? I mean, working on a show for 10 years straight and then having time in between, because I know you've gone on to do other things. I mean, the whole Sharknado, DC
that was
Comics.
10 years. That was 13 years later, though, Randy.
Right.
You do get pigeonholed. Right after 90210, I was still Steve Sanders in all the casting directors' eyes. It was very difficult to get the job. I got some episodic work, and that was great. But in the meantime, I went out to Colorado and I built a house. My need to create isn't only manifest through acting. Arts and craft is also something that I was very passionate about, and doing it on a grand scale. I built a house in Colorado. I've since sold it, but just working with the architect, working with the builder, having a hammer in my hand. Did that for a couple of years and did something that really satiated my need to create. It wasn't in front of the camera, but it was something. And over time, staying determined to continue in this industry, things would come up that I would be right for. And, there was Dancing with the Stars that I did in 2007.
Before my time.
Yeah. At first I turned it down. I turned it down from year one, but then all of a sudden Mario Lopez blows up into Mario Lopez. And I'm thinking, well, this maybe is a good thing. Am I prejudging this based on previous circumstances and similar situations? What are the pros and cons? Well, the pros are that I get to learn dancing. I get to be relevant again. I get to be on television. I get to be on the number one variety
time
show.
It was huge then, my God, especially back in 1976.
Huge, and still huge. And I had an opportunity to raise money for charity. And am I just an actor or am I an entertainer? And I really had to reconcile that myself. Well, it's like I like doing a lot of things, and I think I'm limiting myself if I say I'm just an actor. If I'm an entertainer, then that includes actor, but it gives me a license to explore other modalities to create. And I got to the semifinals on that show and was really proud of myself. My father got a chance to see that. He was so proud of me.
I love that.
Went on to be on The Apprentice, raised $325,000.
You were on The Apprentice?
I was on the last year with Donald Trump, made it all the way to the end. Did not win, but still won $325,000 for my charity.
Amazing.
I kind of feel like I got railroaded off, but that's the show, whatever.
It's reality TV.
I had to create a jingle for Bud Light Rita drinks, margarita, limerita. And I came up with this jingle because I used to sing Frosted Lucky Charms are magically delicious for years before my balls dropped out. That was always me. And then all of a sudden my voice changed and I couldn't sing it anymore. But jingles was my thing. And I came up with this jingle, limerita, raspberryta. Might sound crazy, but it's true. It's a cool thing with a new zing from the king of beers to you. Thought it was golden. I thought I was going to win.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
What's the problem?
Was great. And Donald Trump says, "Oh, you can't use La Cucaracha. You're fired." I'm like,
Oh, right.
Wait, why can't you use that? Like, it
Because
doesn't work?
It would be copyright that you have to sample it.
It's over 60 years old. I could use it.
Oh, so
I could use
wrong.
it. I just never got that out. He fired me right away, and and then
could you imagine? I wish there was footage of you going, "Excuse me, Mr. Trump, but you are wrong."
Right.
Right.
Oh, I
They've
wish
never
that
let
existed.
That show. But, it's been great. So the ups and downs of the entertainment industry have been crazy. I worked with the Chippendales for a couple summers.
Oh, that's right. I remember reading that.
You did Chippendales? Good for
yes.
you. I love
Easy,
that.
Sharna.
I love that.
I worked with the Chippendales, and it was really, I'm only stripping to put my kids through school.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, you got to do it.
Not everyone can just work for the Chippendales. I'm just saying, like, there's certain pre-qualifications that you have to have.
Yeah.
From the 1 to Randy scale of ripness right now, I got to about an 8.5, but it was enough that I didn't have a muffin top. And for 2 summers, I danced with the Chippendales. It's flirty. It's not dirty. I had a great time.
It's flirty, not dirty.
Is that the actual slogan?
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Listen, I saw Thunder from Down Under. This is going back over a decade ago when I was in Vegas for a show. This is pre-Dancing with the Stars, and that show got dirty. That got racy, spicy, racy, all the things. The women loved it. I mean, I loved it. I lost my voice a little bit. I have never seen Chippendales though.
It's not dirty.
It's not. Gotcha.
It's spicy, but it's not. I wouldn't have any problem with my mother being in the audience while it was happening.
Gotcha.
She would laugh. But it was great. And then, Sharknado, 6 of those crazy cockamamie movies. And, one thing leads to another. And who knows? I feel like there's still a long road in front of me in this entertainment industry. I wait with eager anticipation for whatever the universe has for me. But in the meantime, I'm not sitting on my hands waiting for it. I'm building out and I'm doing and I'm daddying and enjoying life. Yeah.
You're creating. Yeah. I think something that you said that's so important and I just love, I think everyone is creative in their own right, but there's like creativity and there's productivity. And a lot of times they intersect. And when you are a creative, when you're very creative and you're used to being creative in a certain way, if that goes away or if that is stalled for a period of time, it's so important to create in other areas. Like you said, you moved to Colorado, you built a house, you used your creativity in other ways while you continued to be an actor and do things. You started this beauty business that you got involved with and you've built teams out and you've helped so many people. I can't even fathom how many people have changed their mindset, have been inspired, have gotten some business savvy from you and looked at things from a certain perspective. You've been creating in so many different facets that you have not had your hands tied. You just kept it moving. And I think people really need to hear that if there's one area of your life, because we all have it, right? It might be financial, it might be relational. There might be something that feels stuck and stagnant, or it just feels like there's white noise. And instead of just focusing on what's not happening, why isn't it happening yet? And getting impatient, looking at, okay, if this isn't happening as quick as I would like it to, where else can I move that energy around so that I can continue the flow, continue the creativity and keep moving forward? And sometimes being productive and being creative can unleash that flow to come to you more so you're not as stagnant.
I agree with that. It wasn't anything that I sat and like, what else can I do? It's just following my passions. With the house, it was because I wanted to do something and an opportunity came up to get some property out in Colorado and, I had enough money from 90210 to do something and I made it happen. I didn't want to sit and feel sorry for myself. So I did that with, my team 90210 beauty business. It's, I've always felt that success unshared is failure. And I found a financial vehicle that anybody could drive. And because it's about health and beauty products, it's kind of like a double win, helps me maintain a youthfulness that's not commensurate with someone who's 59 years old. And while I'm at it, I'm helping people put some food on the table. And I continue to train and mentor and work with all these people. And it's so fulfilling. So where first I was chasing the dollars and needing an opportunity to provide for my family, once it gets there, then you realize, like, if you're doing this, you have to look over your shoulder and realize, like, I only got here is because I've helped other people do the same thing. And now I'm not chasing the dollars. I'm more chasing the purpose. And I've built a business and my business is helping others build theirs. And that's it. And it feels good.
Wow.
Love it.
It's impressive.
Not just chasing the dollars, chasing purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, so much better.
So much better.
It's so counterintuitive because I think we're all born with this mindset, me, 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 me. But when you give, and like I've heard people say that, oh, live a life of service. Like, oh my God, that sounds so preachy. But there's something to it. There's something to it. And I'm seeing it. And I'm grateful for having my mind really switched from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. It's changed me.
Can we all take that masterclass? Scarcity to abundance.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That I'm in. I'll sign up for that.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take the Ian Ziering workshop.
Yeah.
You guys are too much.
No, I'm serious. Because
very impressed.
Look, I work with people for a living, day in and day out. And there are still times where I catch myself in a scarcity mindset. It could be programming from growing up. It could be something that's happening that, triggers this thought or this, somewhere that I'm holding it in my body. And all of a sudden I'm tense for a moment thinking about something. And I think it's so important, invaluable actually, for people at large to learn how to move from scarcity to abundance, because there's sort of like affirmations and law of attraction and, fake it till you make it even. And I think there's merit in all of those things, but
Absolutely.
sometimes it's still too hard of a jump for people. Like they can sit and go, okay, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy. But their cells are like, but I have this bill and it's hard to pay and I feel constricted, right? So it's just so important to work with this, because coming out of a scarcity mindset and feeling more abundant, you feel closer in your relationships, less stressed, more present with your kids, more ability to be free as a human being. And it is so undervalued.
Yeah. With my team, I talk about taking baby steps, because compounded daily baby steps could end up hundreds of miles down the road for you if you just do a little bit every day. And miraculously, what I found is when people jump off into the abyss, because I jumped off, miraculously, the safety net appears. Your own will to survive. You're going to find a way to grab onto something. And then if you have the right mentor or teacher or whatever it is, you'll begin to climb. And if you are committed to your own personal growth, you'll get it. If you're persistent with your personal growth, you'll continue to grow. And that's something that people just live in fear. They don't want to change. They live in a comfort zone, but you got to shake them up. Look, other less capable people than you have done it. You can do this.
So do you feel that that is the key, is being persistent with your personal growth? Like that's the through line. If you could just be persistent, if you could get the right mentor, if you can ask for help, if you can still just find a way to grow through all of the challenges, that one will be okay?
I think being committed is the first thing you have to do. Like, it's going to happen. I'm going to make it there. Other less capable people than me have done it. I'm going to rise. It's going to happen. Failure is not an option. Burn the boats, whatever it takes. And once you set yourself on that course, if you're committed to it, you're going to get there. If you're persistent, then not only are you going to get there, but you'll get to the point where you're going to help others along the way. Because what's exciting and passionate to you, you can't help but share. You can't help it.
True.
It's like, you can't shut me up. When you find something like a new Italian restaurant that opens up in town and it's better than Mom's Chicken Parmesan, everybody knows about it.
So true.
Everybody knows about it because it's the best. Oh my God, you got to go try the chicken parm. It's unbelievable. Or a new book or a movie or whatever it is. When you're passionate about something, you share it. And personal growth is something that everybody could use. Randy, you're a life coach. People come to see you for insight and greater clarity, and it's worth it. If I needed dance lessons, I'd go to Sharna. I'd be worth it. Whatever it takes to get there, you got to truly want it. And it boils that back down to where we started this conversation. Why? And don't forget your why. It's because whatever emotional reason it is, not the analytical one, whatever the emotional reason is, enough to propel you into committing to your success, committing to your personal growth, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You need an emotional reason. And that's important. That's like why my team is on fire.
Amazing. Amazing. Ian, I just want more right?
I
I
know.
want to get some popcorn. I want to sit.
Yeah.
I want to
Randy,
hear.
you don't. If you come down to Los Angeles, you don't call me. I'm gonna be so pissed. I never get up to where you are.
Ian, we normally have like these questions that we'll ask. We had like these fun segments, but I just need to tell you that you've been so engaging and wonderful and open and inspiring in your conversation. The things that you're saying just ring true to me, and I think have actually even been something I've needed to hear this week. Dude, you were meant to be with us. Thank you, universe, for this moment. You are wonderful, and I'm so grateful for this.
I'm the lucky one here, Sharna. Thank you, though, for saying that. I appreciate it.
Me too. Well, we do have 3 questions for you before you go. So, number 1, if you could have any do-over in life, like we know that everything that we go through gets us to where we're at, but if you could have one do-over, what would it be?
Oh, God. You know, a long time ago, Missy Halpern, who worked for Fox, right after, you remember Missy, you probably do.
Yep.
She said, Ian, would you ever like host a reality show? And I said, no, I'm an actor. I don't like, no, it's not for me, but thank you. American Idol.
No.
Oh my God.
That's not to say,
oh my
that's
gosh.
not to say that they were offering me American Idol, but just for Missy to throw my hat in the ring to be considered. Now, let me just say, I think Ryan Seacrest, when he was doing it at that time, doesn't get any better. They got the right guy. Ryan is
right.
awesome. But it's like, wow, it would have been, I would have liked to had a shot at that title. Would have been nice. I think they got the right guy. I probably wouldn't have got it. But if I had to pick one do-over, I'd probably go back to that moment and say, sure, why not?
And see where it goes. I love
I'm
that.
much more open now to what the universe holds for me. I don't say no to much. My mom used to say, Ian, get it first and then you could turn it down. There was a commercial once for something stupid and they had to put like a robot hat on and walk around like a robot. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And my mom says, why don't you get it and then you could turn it down if you don't. And there were several times in my youth where I didn't want to do things, but okay. And I eventually, if I booked the part, I did it. And it wasn't really a big deal. It was more fun than I had nothing to be fearful of. So yeah, that would be the one moment, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you want your daughters to know most? What do you want them to carry with them in life?
The big one.
Wow. I think I want my daughters never to be fearful of trying, of doing something that they may be uncomfortable, something that they want, to always believe that anything is possible. They're only limited by their imagination. And I try to imbue them with a sense of courage and strength every day. It's funny. I learned this little thing from Jenny Garth. She would kiss her children on the forehead every night. Strength, courage, wisdom. And I've started doing that with my penna. And it's just, I said, what does that mean, penna? What does strength mean? It just means to be strong and not to be weak and face my challenges and know that I could do them. I'm like, good girl. And then what is wisdom? Wisdom is knowing the difference between right and wrong, whatever it is. And what is courage? Standing up for myself. Good girl, stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's really beautiful.
That's from Jenny.
That's so cute. I do affirmations for Zane every night. I do, like, he obviously can't repeat them, but it's something that I want to continue doing. And that is definitely something I'm going to keep in mind for when he can answer my questions. I love it.
I kiss him goodnight and I say, I'm so glad you're mine. I'm the luckiest dad in the world. It's the best.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful parenting moments.
What else you got, Randy?
Okay, so last one. We talk about oldish as more of a concept. It's not an age, but it's where you get to this place in life where you start to ask questions. You garner some wisdom and you say, look, I now know some things because I've experienced some things.
Life.
So what is something that you've learned or you now know being in this oldish phase?
Well, I really feel more youngish in this phase. And I realized that it's too late to make a brand new start, but I could always start today to make a brand new ending. So with whatever it is.
Mic drop from Ian Ziering.
Ian Ziering. We're going to quote that.
It's something that I've learned along the way, that roadblocks are never really the end of the road. If you look at a roadblock as a challenge, just figure out how fast you can get around it or over it or climb under it. There's always a way. It's never the end of the road in life. There's always ways to redirect the energy and get to what you want if you're creative and committed to making it happen and persist.
I'm ready to meet my goals right now. Are you,
yeah,
Sharna?
I'm so ready. This is insane.
Yeah.
Ian, you need to do like workshops, dude. Seriously, have you considered that? This should be in your path.
I have my workshops with my teams, with my new skin teams. It's so fulfilling helping other people and like you say, dropping bombs on them, which is really just paying knowledge forward that I've learned, that I've integrated in my life that have helped me. It's just sharing what I've known, and it just feels good. It just feels good.
Ian, I know you got to get out of here. You got to get your girls from
pick up my
school.
little one from school.
Yeah, you got to go do the dad things. But again, I just want to reiterate, thank you so much. So
Sharna,
unbelievably
thank you so
grateful.
much. You're so lovely. I love you and Brian together. Your kids, it's all just the best. And your mom, oh my God, it was so nice meeting you.
Yeah, my woo. Thank you. And you have to come over again soon. We need more time with you.
I will. And Randy, I'm telling you, you come to LA and you don't call me, buddy, we are going to be in a fight.
We're going to do a workshop together or something. I feel like we have to create something now.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Love you. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Randy.
All right, Sharna, let's go. What are we going to create? I'm so pumped up now.
I want to create all the things. You getting this? This is amazing. Right? I am. That quote? It's too late for a new beginning, but never too late for a new ending. Just like my jaw opened. I was like, that just, ladies and gentlemen, Ian Ziering. He was very impressive. I had no idea.
It's so fun to connect with people after so long. I mean, it's been 20 years since I've seen Ian. I know he's with Tori and I see him sort of around in periphery, but haven't connected. And I know I said this, I'll say it again, but sitting down in this format and getting a chance to talk to people and really learn more about them and what their mindset is and how they reach for things and what they struggle with. It inspires me each and every time.
Me too. And it's so, I have to say this again, it's so crazy what the universe brings to you, always something that you need. We didn't really have a plan of what we were going to chat with Ian about. We were just going to let it flow. And I've been having the week that I've been having, and I'm walking away from our episode feeling so inspired and motivated for, the things that I have there and I've been wanting to do. It was just perfect timing. And I never thought I'd be grateful that Bri was away, but I'm grateful that Bri was away and we got a chance to do this. And we thought about having Ian with us.
The universe gives you what you need. And our hope and intention is that all of you who are listening got something that you need out of this too, just like each and every episode. So thank you all for listening. Sharna, grateful for you being here.
So grateful for you, Randy. You're the best. Everyone, again, to reiterate, thank you for listening. Exactly what Randy just said. Make sure you go over to our Oldish page and you can follow us. You can like us. You can comment. We see all of those things. Make sure you can send us DMs about any subjects you want us to touch on or any questions you may have for us.
And if you do feel so inspired, please, we would be so thankful for you to rate us, give us some feedback. It really helps more than you know. And we appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I hope you got as much out of this episode as we did. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, you guys are amazing. Make sure you guys go and follow us on Instagram at OldishPod. And you can also go and leave us a message at our own hotline, which is 855-OLDISH-3.
Make sure and write us a review. Leave us 5 stars if you loved it. Leave us 5 stars if you didn't.
We love 5 stars. We love 5 stars.
Yeah. We like 5 stars.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week, everyone.
Residents at Brightview Senior Living Communities enjoy enhanced possibilities, independence, and choice. Brightview Homedale will offer vibrant senior independent living, assisted living, and memory care services through various daily programs and cultural events, chef-prepared meals, safety and security, transportation, resort-style amenities, and high-quality care. Everything you need is here. Discover more at brightviewhomedale.com. Welcome Center opens in February. Equal housing opportunity.
Am I doing the right thing with my finances? Am I saving enough? Can I buy a house? Am I paying too much in taxes? Will I be able to retire? Putting a financial plan together feels impossible. What if I told you there was another way? Take Facet's free financial wellness quiz to get your score and a snapshot of your current financial health. Visit Facet.com now and discover your financial wellness score today. That's FACET.com.
This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth Incorporated is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice.
Life is filled with unexpected costs. It's only human to want to keep things simple. Introducing the new TD Clear credit card with no late fees, no interest, and just a simple monthly fee. To learn more about credit costs and terms, call 1-844-TD-CLEAR. TD Bank. Unexpectedly human.